David Ogunshola embodies God's creative intelligence, creating and expressing excellence across different sectors, including tech, education, business, and faith. As a software engineer turned teacher, David is renowned for his work as an innovation catalyst, empowering the next generation through tech and entrepreneurial education, preparing children to launch startups before they turn 18. He does that through Early Founders Labs, a tech and startup school for children which he founded. He is also the co-founder of Brainy Hive Schools, founder of the Shoop Webmasters, and the author of Early Coding for Kids, currently the only curriculum-based computer programming textbook for children in Nigeria. Beyond his professional endeavors, David is a missions mobilizer who serves as the missions pastor at Insight Bible Church and is involved in many missionary efforts in sub-Saharan Africa. Backseat Adventures, a project he pioneered, is documenting the stories and biographies of African missionaries. His gifts as both a teacher and strategist combine to make him a highly sought-after speaker, consultant, and coach. He serves on many boards and think tanks and runs multiple layers of coaching and mentoring around purpose discovery and personal growth. His newest book, Don't Fall for It, explains popular internet scams and cybersecurity threats to children and shows them how not to become victims while online. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Intentional Parent Annual Conference 2024, David Ogunshola.
Well. My trust this evening is that this is going to be another high-valued session for you, because we're going to be talking about something very important, and the topic is empowering your kids to become creators. Now, this is a very interesting subject, a very interesting topic, and it's going to be. I just hope that by the end of this session, it's not just going to be theory, but you're going to see some things that you can do as a parent very practically to be able to help your children to become creators and to become innovators, irrespective of where they are and how what ages or how old they are. Thank you very much. Please, is it possible for me to share my screen or share my slides? I just have a few slides to use as my. Oh, fantastic, great. Thank you very much. Okay, no, I need to go back. All right, thank you. Yes, so we're going to be talking about empowering your kids to become creators. How do you raise children? So we're talking about raising kings. We're talking about raising people who sit at the table. And I really just want to thank the entire TIP community, particularly Coach Wendy, for this event she has put together, this series of topics, and particularly for the theme, raising kings, because we're in a time and an age where the need for our children to be able to sit down in places where their voice can be heard, where they will talk and their voices will not just be downplayed, is becoming more and more important. It's extremely important that we're able to prepare them. And this subject of helping them to become creators and innovators is something that is very dear to my heart. It's very dear to me particularly. This is what I spend my entire day doing. This is my life work right now. So they call me the innovation catalyst, because I just want to see, how do you help these children to ensure that they are able to go out there and get their voice heard. Now, understand that we live in a world that is full of problems. Everywhere you turn is problem. Everywhere, left, right, and center. As a matter of fact, when the world is meeting today, what they are doing is actually discussing problems. So you go to the United Nations Summit, what they are doing at the United Nations meeting is practically discussing problems. Talk about the Sustainable Development Goals, basically outlining about 16, 17 problems that are there: poverty, education, inequality. Wherever you turn to, there is just so much problem around. And because of that, the world is now looking for people who can solve problems. So you go to the website of something like the World Economic Forum right now, and every post you're going to see there is addressing one problem or the other. And so this is the world that we live in. And in this world, there are different kinds of people, but there's a particular kind of people that the world is looking for. So whether you like it or not, whether you are aware or not, whether you are conscious about it or not, every child that we are raising is going to fall into one of three categories. And the world is particularly looking for people who can solve problems. But your child is going to fall into one of these three categories. You see, that your child is going to be a worker, a thinker, or a complainer. Because broadly speaking, these are the three categories of people that exist in our world today. We have people who are workers, those who are thinkers, those who are complainers. Now, I know I should have started with complainers, but I left them for the last. Because everybody listening to me today, you are in one of these three boxes. Now, workers are those who go out there and are waiting to be told what to do. Thinkers are those who go out there and are looking for problems to solve. Complainers are those who go out there and are blaming somebody for what is not working. So you may not give yourself this label, but everybody is in one of these three boxes. So if you're a complainer, you wake up in the morning and you are saying, oh, there's no light. Light is not working. You're saying minimum wage. Government is not doing this. You are saying your boss is not doing this. Your company is making money. They are paying you peanuts. There's always somebody to point a finger to. And we are sometimes not aware that we are in that box of complainers. And sometimes we're not aware that we are actually transferring who we are to our children. But there's another box which is better than complainers. Who are the workers? Workers go out there and they are thinking somebody should give us work. So when you hear people saying that there are no jobs in the country, that there's no that the economy is bad, there are no jobs, government should create jobs. Now, some of them are still in the complainers box, but they are praying to actually move into the workers box. And who are workers? So workers go out there and say, no, this is how much I'm being paid. The job is not good. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm not doing this. So workers are simply asking, somebody should give me work for me to work. I need money. Who should give me a job? And when you ask them, why are things not working? They tell you, I don't have a job now, or my job is not paying beyond this amount of money. And they are not complaining as it were, but they are doing something. But what they are doing is dependent on somebody else. Please stay with me. We're going somewhere tonight. Now, the third box are the thinkers. Thinkers are those who go out there and they think, what is not working and how do we make it work? What is not working, or what are the problems around? I mean, so they used to tell us over time that every problem is an opportunity in disguise. Every problem is an opportunity in disguise. Now, I used to ask my own students, when I asked them, I said, okay, if every problem is an opportunity, now, can you tell me which country or which continent in the world has the most problems? Now, I didn't mention anybody's name, but if I should ask you, where in the world do you think we have the most amount of problems right now? Shouldn't that be the place with the most amount of opportunities? How then is it that people in those places, let me call names, Africa is a land of problems. Nigeria, in fact, I think Nigeria is the headquarters of problems right now. Because on every street in this our country, there is a problem. If problems are opportunities, why are we running away from where there's opportunity? Now, many of you, if you understand this, those of you who travel a lot, you've experienced this. When you are leaving the country on a plane, the country is full. Now we full on. People are moving, they are migrating, they are jackpotting, whatever you want to call it. And when you are coming back, sometimes you are amazed. Why are we running and people are coming back? What are they seeing that we are not seeing? It simply tells you that there is a disconnect somewhere. So people who have the worker mindset, or the complainer mindset, when they see problems, they take off. They're looking for where things are working and where somebody has already prepared the table and let us come and eat on the table. But people who are thinking, asking themselves, why are these problems there? And what can this problem become? What is the potential of this problem? And see, nobody becomes who they are accidentally. So if you are thinking in any of these boxes, you didn't plan, you didn't just stumble into them. So if people are complainers today, they didn't just wake up and become complainers. Something actually led to them becoming complainers. And that is not my problem, actually. My problem is not who we are today. But because we're talking about our children, I'm asking myself, who our children will become tomorrow is not going to be accidental. Where our children are going to play in terms of these boxes, whether they're going to be complainers, workers, or thinkers, it is not going to happen by accident. The things we are doing today is actually determining where they will be, who they will become. And so when we're talking about kings, people who sit on the table where matters are being discussed, where their voices are being heard, I'm not giving anybody. Jackpot people are not collecting anything. Please stop. Don't put me in trouble. I know that this is a very global meeting. I'm not saying that jackpot people are running away from problems. I'm trying to paint a scenario here. Please don't miss the point. Stay with me. We're going somewhere. All right. So nobody is becoming who they are going to become accidentally. Your child is going to become one of these. Who is he going to become? So let me ask you the question. As a parent, who are you raising? Are you raising a worker? Are you raising a thinker? Are you raising a complainer? You may not realize that the things you are doing are building up to that, but definitely and assuredly, you are building one of these three. So, and it is not accidental. What you are doing is actually helping them, is facilitating their journey to becoming one of those three. And what are the things that actually determine how we turn out? Now, this is where it gets interesting. The factors that actually determine who we or our children become, there are three broad factors: education, family, community. And it's quite interesting that all of these three are determined by one person, practically the parent. The education your children receive, you determine it. The kind of schools they go to, you make the choice. The family setting they're going to grow up in are determined by us as parents. The community in which they grow up, and how does this affect? For example, let me start with family. Basically, what children grow up seeing determines who they become. You cannot compare a child who grew up in a family that was constantly traveling and a child who grew up in a family that lived in one city all their life. Their exposure is not the same. So when they begin to engage outside the world, when they begin to think, the way they think is not just accidental. It's the family setting in which they grew up. A family that has values, a family that has culture, a family that has discipline is not going to raise the same kind of children with a family where everybody does what they like. Recently, I was talking to somebody and I was trying to connect some dots, and I was saying, no, there's something that is not connecting somewhere. So I began to ask back and back and back, and actually was able to trace back that the reason this person is doing what they are doing is actually because of the kind of family in which they were raised. So what do they see people doing? What kind of, do you know that the way you and your spouse run your home will determine more than any textbook that your children will read how their marriages will turn out? So family is important. Education is important. The kind of schools that they go to, the kind of education that they receive. Are they receiving an education where we just teach them how to memorize things, how to just cram and pass exam? Are you pushing them to pass JAMB and pass WAEC? Or are you putting them in a school system that teaches them how to think? Because see, education is not just is not just school. Education is actually the tool for mass producing a nation's philosophy. The way a nation thinks is actually traceable to the kind of education that nation delivers. The way our schools run determine the way our nation will think. Recently, somebody was on an Instagram live, I think it was the Twitter Spaces, and we said that when they were having this conversation and they were discussing, people were engaging intelligently, people were asking intelligent questions. The conversation was very civil and high level. He said as soon as Nigerians landed inside the Twitter Spaces, the communication changes. The level of conversation just dropped. Very, very basic questions. It's because of this, it's because of government. I mean, you could tell that the quality of conversation changed. Why? Because a particular kind of people just came in. And the way our nation thinks is a function of the kind of schools that we have. You cannot separate the education system from the national philosophy. So when we say that young people are lazy, when we say young people are not being creative, don't blame them. Go back and check. How did we mass produce them? How did we create them? How did we shape their thinking? Children don't just grow up to start thinking independently. There's a system that actually shapes the way they think. And in our own case, I think to a large extent, it's not even that we are shaping them to think the wrong way. We are not even helping them to think at all. And then community, where they grow up, the kind of things they were exposed to, the kind of things that they kept on seeing. So where they grow, have you ever noticed why there are particular places that have a way of raising a particular kind of people? There's a trait that people come, okay, there's a way you see somebody behaving as an adult, and you're asking, where did you grow up? Did you grow up in the barracks? Did you grow up in Ajegunle? Why are you asking those questions? Because you understand that community and environment has a way of shaping the way somebody comes out. So whether it's the family, the neighborhood or community, or the education system, these are actually things that determine how our children are going to turn out. So don't just blame a child and say, oh, this one is just a complainer complaining. Go and trace. There's actually something connecting from somewhere. There's a reason why this child is thinking the way they are thinking, or there's a reason why they are not even thinking at all. That is not the point. Now, the point is, what do we do as parents to ensure that our own children turn out to be different. That our children, in a world that is full of problems, we raise creators, we raise thinkers, we raise innovators who are not waiting for somebody to solve problems and give them what to do. Because why is unemployment very high in our nation today? It is because people leave school, and when they leave school, what they are looking for is work. And we live in a world where there's no more work. Because if your idea of a job is somebody giving you a table and a chair and giving you files and telling you what to do, there are no jobs. Nobody is telling anybody what to do again. We are in a world where people are left to leave school and go out and figure out what they want to do or what they need to do by themselves. And so if we are expecting our school system to actually tell my children are in school now, school should prepare them. Which school is preparing them? Now, there are outliers. There are exceptional schools. Nowadays, we have schools that are coming out and are breaking the barrier. We have schools that are raising up and are saying, we want to question the status quo, we want to question the norm, we want to do things differently. But understand that primarily and basically, we run a school system, an education system that has refused to evolve. In fact, the current school system was not designed to raise thinkers. It was designed to raise workers. Just go online. Let me just give you an assignment. Go online and Google John D. Rockefeller and education. Most likely one of the first 2 or 3 articles you will see was the contribution of men like John D. Rockefeller to creating the education system that we currently run. Mind you, the school system we run today was built for a generation and an era that expired 2 eras ago. Just to make you understand this, I'm going to give you a quick timeline. So we have the current education system was actually built or created to service the need of the industrial age, the industrial era, the era when factories needed workers in bulk, in good numbers. That is when the school system was created. Because let me back up a little bit. So those who hear me, who have listened to me a lot, must have had this analogy I'm going to give. But I'm going to just run through it for a little bit. There was an age and time when the world was driven by the agricultural economy. We call it the agrarian age. That age was when the people who succeeded to stand out, to be rich, wealthy, or successful was a function of how much farms you had or how much animals you had. That was the age where people married multiple wives so that they could have many children, so that they could cultivate big farms, because the bigger your farm, the richer you were. This was the age that drove slave trade. The entire slave economy was actually a system of driving the agrarian economy, because people needed farm workers. There were no machines. There was no farm mechanics. I mean, the industrialization of the world had not happened. So everything was manual. So you need to have 25 children if you will have big farms. And so people were delivering children and marrying wives to create a workforce for farms. After the slave era ended, then there was another era that came in, the industrial age that we talk about today. This was the age of mechanization. Machines began to get invented. People began to mass produce. This was the age of the guys we talked about. So the Carnegies of this world, the Rockefellers of this world, the Vanderbilts of this world, the Henry Fords of this world, the Edisons, people who were now manufacturing at scale. Suddenly there were factories around the world, and factories needed workers. But to have people who could work in factories, they needed to think in a particular way. So they needed to standardize people's way of thinking. And so the school system, the education system, was designed so that people can go into school and come out thinking in a particular way. And you were designed to take instructions, because in a factory, what you were required to do was simply do as you are told. So if you are working in a car assembly plant and your job is probably fixing windscreen, we just need to show you how to fix windscreen. And when the assembly line comes, you fix windscreen. If you are fixing tires, we teach you how to fix tires. And so if you observe, our school system is designed like factories. Why do we arrange chairs in rows the way factories and assembly lines are designed? Why do we ring bell? Why do we standardize everything? So today we are doing mathematics. Everybody's time for maths. Bring out your math textbook. Go to page 47. Solve question. We are templating and creating, let me know it's what zombies. But that was the whole idea. The idea was train people who can go out and take instructions and do as they are told. And that is why when people leave school today, what is the first thing they're thinking of? As you are graduating, they're asking you, when are you going to get a job? Because school was the input and the outcome was job. So our school system was designed to raise workers. When people leave school and they can't get a job, they say, oh, there's no work, there's no work, there's no work. Do you understand what I'm talking about here? People just go to school, and when they come out, there's no job. And it was working in the industrial age. People were actually coming out, and factories needed them. So there was enough work. You can go and work in assembly plants, you can go and work in this. But the industrial age moved on to another age, the information age. This was the age and era where your success in life was a function of how much knowledge you have acquired. And suddenly, education system became a race for knowledge. So people are finishing primary school, you're saying go to secondary school. You are finishing secondary school, go for degree, because when you have a secondary school degree, certificate, you're going to earn more than a primary school person. When you have a university degree, automatically you will earn more than a secondary school leaver. When you have a master's, you earn more than a degree holder. And so it was like, go to school, because the more you read, the more money you will earn. It was the information age. We were beginning to value and reward information. So automatically you believe a PhD holder has sense because he has read plenty book. So the salary scale was just different. And because of that, parents began this mad rush for school. Go to school. The child has not finished, has not even understood what they are doing. They are finishing master's degree. That's when school became the trouble. 14 years, finish secondary school. Go to university on time. 19, they are finishing. Oh yeah, go for master's. Finish master's. Oh yeah, go for PhD. After PhD, oh yeah, now come and look for work. So then we're back to that work again. But you see, our parents, many of us who are millennials and probably Gen Zs, our parents lived in the information age. And so they push us to school in the information age. However, the era also shifted, and we have entered a new age. And we didn't. And you see, this era's change with that announcement. Nobody comes to ring a bell and say, beleng, beleng, beleng. They are in a new era right now. We enter the conceptual age where people succeed based on their ability to create, invent, and solve problems. Your ability to succeed in this age is a function of your ability to go into nothing and create something out of nothing. So if you look at the people who are succeeding and standing out today, you will see entrepreneurs, people who can sit down and imagine an app that does not exist and bring it to life out of nothing. They're able to see a problem and say, oh, why are people going out in the rain to go and call taxi? Why not build an app called Uber or Bolt that they can call taxi? Or people sit down and somewhere and they're able to sit out of nothing and create content. So content creators, musicians, entrepreneurs, techies, this is the age of the innovator. This is the age of the concept where people are succeeding based on what they can produce out of nothing. Have you ever asked yourself, where do content creators get their content from? They just sit down. I mean, if you're watching this right now, go, is raining. Where do these guys just get the music and create a dance, and suddenly people are making millions out of that? That is the age we are in. Unfortunately, our school system did not evolve with us. So the school system is still raising people who are looking for factory jobs, whereas today they are coming out and nobody's giving them work, expecting them to think. But unfortunately, the school system did not prepare them to think. So we have people who are done with school, but for one day in their life, they have never used their brains. All they do is memorize. You know that you can go into school today, memorize what you are given. Once you can give the lecturer back what they gave you, you will make a first class. So passing JAMB today is not a measure of anything. That you have 370 in JAMB and you have 980 in WAEC does not mean anything in today's world. Or go out and create something. Problems everywhere. What can you do with these problems? That is the challenge we have as parents. So why did I have to tell you all this story? For those of you who are depending on school to help make your children creators, sorry, they will come out of school and they'll come and sit in your house and you'll be calling your friends, do you have work for my child? Do you have a job in your company? You'll be looking for a job for your children after pushing them through school and paying school fees. But there's understand that today, children need to be able to create on their own. And this is where the toolbox is different. The things that we needed to succeed, the things our parents needed to succeed is different from what our children need to succeed, because the toolbox of creators is totally different. What the arsenal that they need to succeed today is not what our parents needed. What our parents needed was just have a good degree, you can speak good English, you can do good mathematics, you will succeed. Today, who English help? Who mathematics help? You see people going out there and they are just solving problems and the world is paying attention to them. When we say raising kings, that's what I'm talking about. People who can go out there and do the kind of things that command the attention of the world. That the United Nations is complaining about problems, sustainable development goals, and economists are saying there's this problem here, that problem here, and a child can sit up and look at the problem and can create something and can say, look, I have a solution for this. The world will invite that child to the table. They have made a king. So creativity and innovation is one tool that your child needs to sit at the table of kings. And so I'm going to share with you 4 areas that your child needs to develop skills, because these are the areas that matter today. This is the work I do. I work with kids. I work with children. I run an innovation and startup school for children. What we are doing is helping kids to launch startups before they are 18. Because go and find out. Many of our people, you go and study biochemistry, microbiology, chemical engineering, finish your degree, then they come and start learning the skills to succeed. They come and start learning tech when they are 25, 26. I would say, if this is what they are doing to succeed, why not give it to them from age 7, 8, 9, 10? So that by the time they are 18, the whole idea is let them solve problems. Anyway, let me share with you these 4 areas that your children need to succeed, need to develop skills, and then hopefully you can implement those things. So number 1, problem solving. And when I say problem solving here, I'm not just using the cliche of problem solving. You know, we talk about problems a lot, but we need to get children comfortable around problems. Most people see problems and run away. That is the way we are trained and we are wired. People just see problems and they are not comfortable sitting around problems. They're not comfortable engaging with problems to look for solutions. You can't innovate, you can't create. When you say you are creating, you're actually creating something to solve a problem. If you are not comfortable around problems, how do you create solutions? So you need to teach your children how to be comfortable with problems. That they see something that is not working, the first solution is not to take off. It is to sit down and engage. So when your child comes, say, okay, go and throw this thing outside. And the child comes and say, mommy, the door is closed from the top. You know what they just did? They went there, saw a problem, came back to report to you. Now, so they start. That's how it starts. If you don't correct it now, every day in their life, they see problem, they'll be looking for who to point it to. They don't realize that there's something in them that can actually say, so what is the way around? A simple hack for this is, every time your child comes to complain about something to you, let them make it a rule. Before you tell me the problem, bring at least 1, 2, 3 options for solution. So you say, yes, the door is locked, the hook is up. I understand the hook is up, your hand cannot get there. Give me 2 options. What are ways, if I'm not in this house, how will you solve it? Or child will say, oh, okay, daddy, but I can get a chair and climb. Okay, that's one. Number 2, let them think. Let them not run away when they see. Let them, as in, get them comfortable around thinking. This thing is training. It's by training. No child is born with that ability and say, oh, this child is a problem solver. Everybody, that is why sometimes it looks like people who have had big challenges in life end up doing better. You know why? The challenges they had got them used to problems. And they came out there and they are able to actually think their way because they had nobody to run away to. Sometimes we want to give our children a comfortable life. It's good, it's fine. But you see, when we have given them too much comfort and options of ease, we're not doing them good. We're not raising creators. So let them engage with problems. And another way to do it is, don't always, if in your parenting, Coach Wendy has written lots of books around this. But one of the things you can do is actually, in your parenting style, many of us, you know what we do? We take the instructing style rather than the questioning style. We're not teaching them to think. So you come into your child's room and the child's room is scattered. The natural thing to do is, hey, arrange this room. Or yeah, pick that chair, put this thing. You start telling them what to do. Instead of telling them what to do, can you change a little bit and say, okay, when you come into that room and the room is scattered, simply ask them, is this room the way it's supposed to be? As in, is everything where it's supposed to be? You know what you've done in that moment? You've switched that child into thinking mode. My shoe is on the ground though. My towel is under the bed. Okay, towel should not be under the bed. Automatically, you have activated their mind. If you tell them what to do, they will do it, but they've never used their brain. That is what our schools have been doing. We can do mathematics, we can do times table, we can do integration and differentiation. But what exactly does it do in the world? I don't know. So get them comfortable around problem solving. Don't just give them instructions. Get them to, so you come out there, you always remind them to turn off the fan. Always tell them to turn off the light. When they ask them, just let them understand why. Let them think. So your parenting style, rather than instructing, when you enter and the fan is on and they've left there, call them out and say, yeah, come out. Look at this fellow. You've gone into bed, right? What is wrong in this place? They'll say, we didn't turn off the fan. We didn't close the window. They will start thinking. But the whole idea is this. Put them, sometimes intentionally leave them in a challenge. Don't be quick to rescue them every time. That's number one. Number two is, I call it text kits. Why is tech skill an important toolbox for every child, or an important tool in the box of every child? It helps them to learn how to build things. Now, it's going to sound like I have a bias in this area because this is my space. I used to be a software engineer. I became a teacher. I'm now a teacher full-time. I write textbooks. I build curriculum. Why am I a teacher? Because I realize that the things that we do out there need to be taught to children. Let me not talk too much about that. Let's stay on course. Tech skills. Let your children learn how to build early. You see, sometimes we think that it's about the tech. It's not about the tech. It's about what happens when they are learning the tech. I tell people, coding is not an end in itself. It's a means to an end. Computer programming is not innovation. It's only a tool for expressing innovation. That a child can code does not mean he's creative. But a child can code, it means he has a tool to express his creativity. So if that child thinks of something, they have the ability and the skill to actually bring to life what they think of. Programming is the closest that there is to magic and superpowers, because a child can actually sit down and think of an idea in his head that does not exist, and you don't know what you have done. That the child can think of something and he knows how to bring to life what he creates, what he thinks of. You are giving that child dopamine. You are getting that, you are building creative confidence. It may start small. It may be just a simple game. Oh, I want to build a game where two people are running and are fighting. But that he can think of it, and he knows what buttons to click on the computer to actually make his ideas come to life. You have done something in that child's mind. It releases a dopamine. The next thing he wants to do, he wants to create something more complex, something more complex, something more complex. Go and check. All the tech people we celebrate today, go and check when they started coding. They didn't learn to code in university. Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, they did not learn to code in university. 7, 12, 9, that's when they learned tech skills. You know what they did? They actually got confident about their ability to create. So as they grew up, they see problems and they tell themselves, if I could build this, I can build that. What gave David audacity to face Goliath? Because he had done other things in the past. The things they have done in the past give them confidence that they can do bigger things. A child who has never built a simple game, who has never built a simple mobile app that does not do anything meaningful, does not believe he can build an app that will solve a real problem. And so, tech skills today. So when you are saying, sometimes you say, my child will not do coding, he's going to be a doctor, he's going to be a lawyer. It's not about what they want to become. It's about just them having that knowledge that I can do something, I can bring ideas to life. And the one tool for bringing ideas to life is tech. So today, you can go and become a doctor. You can go and become anything. But let that child have that ability. And the way the world is even going to, even beyond the creative confidence and all of that, almost everything is connected to the tech industry, to the tech world today. Tech has come into everything. It has changed every industry. Finance has become fintech. Health has become health tech. Education has become ed tech. Everything is now tech-based. A child who understands how tech works has an advantage in any field they go to. Automatically, when they are thinking ideas, this child is thinking what is workable, because you understand the algorithms, understand how things work. It's important you give your child the toolbox of technology. Let me run fast. My time is almost finishing. Number 3 is grit. The toolbox that should be in the toolbox. Grit. Help them learn how to finish what they start, even when it is tough. Many of our children are so comfortable with ease, like I talked about. You see, you start doing something, it does not work, and you just take off. You start doing something, it does not work, you just run away. Children need grit. Nothing works the first time. Ask anybody doing anything meaningful. It did not start working immediately. So, giving our children the gift of grit, of resilience, is one of the tools you will give them. These are just ingredients. When they come together, they will eventually come. These are the things that will actually make them become creative. So, like I said, nobody becomes who they are accidentally. You cannot expect a child to give what they don't have. You cannot expect to see manifestation of something in children when they have never built the ability for it. So you are expecting them to go out there and become and solve problems. But no problem gets solved from the first trial. But when they have tried it the first time, it does not work. A second time, it does not work, they run away. No, sir. No, ma. That is why now teach them how to stay on something. You are trying to do this thing. It's not, let them. It's, you see, building grit can be messy. Building resilience can be. It will waste your time. There are times you just want things done faster, so you rescue them. Okay, you know what? Let me help you. Let me do it. Let's go. Oga, calm down. You are raising a king. Relax. Nothing is. You are not microwaving popcorn. You are building something that will stay long. It takes time. Popcorn, you are done. If you want to raise popcorn, you can do fire brigade approach. But if you are raising somebody who will be solid, you will slow down. Your biggest contribution to the world may not be something you do in your lifetime, maybe somebody you raise. That child may be your biggest contribution to humanity. So take time and work on that child very, very well. So give them that gift of resilience. Try doing something. And one way to do this, engage them, involve them in hard things. So register them for sports. Let them do hard sports. Let them, and put them in football club where they run. Put them in taekwondo club where they fight, where they box, where it builds. I mean, to be honest, these are things we don't realize how they play out, but you just understand that over time, these are the things that added up to who people are. Creators have an ingredient. There's a framework for it, and I'm giving you some of it. Grit is one of them. So enroll that child in that sport so that your child is 7, 8. Yes, he's doing tech, he's doing coding, he's doing music. Put him in a football club, put him in a taekwondo club. In that taekwondo club, what's going to happen? When they start doing kicks or whatever, that his leg under, it will start peeling. Don't say, hey, my child's leg is peeling. Oh, God, you are raising a tough child. Let the leg peel. You don't go die. You are building grit. You are building resilience, stamina, ability to withstand pressure. It's a gift. When they grow up, they will thank you for it. Don't give them the easy life. Comfort is a problem. And then the last skill, the last toolbox, or the last of the 4, is not exhaustive, but I just have to stay with this 4 for today. Critical ones, entrepreneurship. Your child should learn how to turn problems into money on time in this life. If they will succeed in this generation, they need to learn how to turn. So it's not about speaking phone and designing things. Oh, I do this. Let them learn the skills. How does money come? How is money made? So the child is doing nice things. She writes a book. Okay, how do books become money? The financial intelligence, investment, business model thinking. Let your child sell something. So don't protect your child and say, no, my child is going to school. If it's possible, let them try something. This is the best time for them to fail, when they are still young and there's something to fall back to. They say, let your home become a safe place for your child to do risky things. Go and find out people who are succeeding today, who are creators. They started experimenting with things long ago. Did they blow out of it? No. When we say that we are on a mission, our organization, Early Founders, one of the things we're doing is we are committed to ensuring that every child who passes through us launches their first startup before they turn 18 years. People say, can an 18 years launch a startup? I say, calm down. It's not about that startup blowing. There's nobody succeeding today by the first startup they built. Go and check. We are celebrating Paystack today. Go and check how many things Shola built before Paystack that failed. So the earlier they begin to fail, the better for you as a parent, because the better for their future. Teach them entrepreneurship. Get them involved. Let them do some holiday jobs. Put them in internships. Let them go and study how people make money. Let them go and study offices. Let them sell something. Let them create something. When a child says, Mommy, I want to make this and sell, don't be too tush for that. Allow them to go out there and actually create something and learn how money is made. So I've given you four things in the toolbox: entrepreneurship, grit, tech skills, and problem solving. Now, what are a few tips for you? A few tips I'm going to share with you. Number one is exposure. Exposure matters in this journey of becoming creators. Exposure matters. There's a book that I like to recommend to parents almost every time. So if you can find this book online, if you're a parent, I actually came with the book. It's called Creating Innovators. I mean, it's not my book. I didn't write it. Creating Innovators by Tony Wagner. The making of young people who will change the world. Please Google it, find it. You can get the ebook, get the hard copy. What this book did was that they actually going to identify who are like the crazy innovators of our generation. And they went to study them backward since from when they were children. Oh my God, the patterns are just there. You can understand that these things are not accidental. It all started from parenting. It all started from how they were parented. And one of the things there, when I say exposure, I mean exposure is not even just travel. So travel is good, all of that. But one of the traits, one of the patterns that we discovered in innovators worldwide is that when they were small, they were exposed to a variety of things. They did music, they did tech, they did drama, they did debate, they played football, they did running, everything. So when you are saying we are doing summer program, this summer, expose your children to things. Let them have it. Let them do so many things. Innovation usually happens when somebody brings perspectives or ideas from two divergent industries. That's what innovation actually, that's what brings innovation actually. People being able to bring perspectives. Most times, innovation doesn't happen within an industry. It comes from outside. Somebody bringing external perspectives into an industry and saying, oh, we can see something here, but differently. Now, what exposure does to children is that because they have been involved in so many things, their brain is able to connect dots from different industries. Whatever they choose to become, whether they choose to become doctors, whether they choose to become engineers, whether they choose to become authors or writers or actors, they're able to bring perspectives from a wide variety of places. That exposure actually helps them to meet different people. They're able to meet people who are not like them. They're able to experience diversity from when they are young. So they go to play football on the street. They may be in a very privileged and very well resourced home. Their parents are wealthy, you are comfortable. But when they go down to play football in the streets, they meet kids who have not eaten. They're able to understand the worldview of those children. They develop empathy. They're able to see, oh, I may not be struggling with this problem, but my other people around me are actually struggling with this problem. They're able to see the world differently. They're able to engage. They're able to experience. When they come back, their thinking changes. Their thinking changes. Their thinking changes. So expose them to things. Put them in many things. They may not become expert in music. They may not become expert in drama. But let them have an experience of it. It's intentional parenting we're talking about here. So put them. Number 2, responsibility. Let them learn to take responsibility. So that thing I talked about, each time they come and they are complaining about something, ask them, what should we do? Let them learn to answer the questions they generate. Because in the real life, when they start asking questions, there'll be nobody to answer it for them. They will need to answer those questions by themselves. So teach them responsibility. So let them solve problems. Don't just give them instructions. Teach them to figure out what is wrong and fix it. So if it's possible, you come into a place and things need to be done, sit down with the child. So if you were the owner of this house, is this how you're going to leave your house? If you're the owner of this kitchen, is this kitchen okay the way you look at it? Let your daughter understand when the kitchen is not right, when it's not looking okay, so that the next time she sees a place that is not okay, she's able to figure out, oh, okay, this is what needs to be done here, and she can do it. Teach them responsibility. Number 3, very important, this one, the choice of your children's school. I'm in this WhatsApp group because I'm in the education space. When it comes to choosing your children's school, please, as a parent, don't just choose a school because the building is nice, because the colors are flashy and they have good play items and play toys. Education has passed that level. If it's possible, talk with the owners of the school, talk with the administrators of the school, talk with the decision makers of the school. Hear how they think. A school leader who is not thinking of tomorrow cannot prepare your child for tomorrow. If all they are telling you is things in the past, oh, here we are passing WAEC, our JAMB is 370 is the average, no. Find somebody who is thinking. So if the people in charge of the school cannot see the future, just go to a smaller school where they are thinking than to a big school, because see, at the end of the day, that paint, a school is not what happens, it's not the building, it's what happens in the classroom. And I tell our teachers every time, when you hear a parent says, I like my child's school, they're not telling you I like the color of the building. They're not telling you that I like the gates. What they're simply saying is that I like what happens in the class. So find out what happens in the class. A school that is protective, they won't show you what they are teaching. They don't talk about their curriculum. You can't engage their teachers. You can't feel. The school leader may be very smart. What about the teachers who are teaching your child? Do you have a chance to engage them, to talk with them, to sound how they think? Because they are the ones determining where your child is going. You can be very smart and they go and put your child in a class with somebody who is thinking 20% at your level. You are in trouble. So any school that is overprotecting their teachers, you can't talk with them. They don't let you engage their teachers. There's a red flag somewhere. I mean, I know I may be causing trouble for school people, but I'm telling you the truth because I'm in this business. I will run a school. I know that the parents feel confident when they think, oh, okay, this person, I'm sure of. I want to know who's teaching my child now, for God's sake. I say, don't you want to know? Me, I want to know. So if the school will not show me who is teaching my child and I can't talk with the person, please go elsewhere. Because, like I said, 3 things: family, community, and school education. The choice of school that your child go to is an important element in how they will end up thinking. So don't make that decision lightly. And the last of them, investment. Nothing good comes cheap. So you are looking for a good program. Maybe you're looking for programs that you put your children in, and somebody says, oh, this program is to enroll maybe in our football academy, our coding club, or whatever, and they're calling money for you, 50,000, 70,000. Yeah, but they're doing 10,000. You want to go to one of 10,000, you will get 10,000 naira quality. At this point, invest in your children. I think as parents, we need to get to a point where we see the things that we do for our children as an investment, not as an expense. So invest in it. And you're not investing money. You're investing money, invest time. So to put your children in different places, to put them in a football club, in a swimming club, in a basketball club, it will cost you time. Sometimes you have to close early on Thursday because your child has basketball class. Okay, close. It's an investment you are making. Now, this is a table many of us are on, especially if you are at a stage of life when you need to build systems, you need to make money. But guys, raising children is one time-bound responsibility that we have. If we don't do it at a particular window, we lose the opportunity. So I hope that the things I've said have been practical enough, have been inspiring enough, have probably opened your eyes to one or two things that you're not doing right or properly, that you want to probably change how to do it, and eventually you'll be able to go raise innovators and creators, because that is one of the work you have to do. To raise kings, your children need to be thinkers, not just workers or complainers. And the things you do will determine who they become. So thank you very much for your time. I'm the Innovation Catalyst. I prepare children and I coach them to launch startups before 18. I used to be a software engineer. I became a teacher, and I'm doing so many things in between. If easiest way to find me, my website is there, davidogunshola.com. I run a couple of businesses, Early Founders Labs, Brainy Hive Schools, so many things. But ultimately, my job is to empower parents, empower schools, and help them to raise innovators. This is my life work. How do you raise creators and innovators? And I'm happy to help anytime. Thank you very much, Coach Wendy, for this privilege.
Hi, Coach. Okay, we just have a few minutes to wrap up, sir. So, but there's a question here. It says that, what do we do now? Do we pull our kids from schools and invest in their future? Do we pull out our kids from school and invest in the future with these strategies you have given? That's one. And then quickly another. I say, how?
Yeah, I saw that question. I think I saw two questions. Yeah,
yes,
so let me just take that.
Okay.
A 16-year-old boy right here. I saw both questions. I'll read the second question too.
Okay.
So Mr. Nkechi, so what do we do? Pull our kids from school and invest in the future? No, I don't think you should pull your kid from school. Now, we're not saying school na scam. It's not the same thing I'm saying. But I'm just saying that you can't depend 100% on school. So if there's a school around you that you can see that they are on this trajectory, it's not a bad idea to switch. This is your life we're talking about. It is your children's destiny. So if the school around you and all the schools are okay, just this regular, you need to find a parallel program. So while they're running school, you're also running something else that helps build that innovation. There are programs. I mean, our program is one of those. Our program is a parallel program, totally. We understand that we cannot fight the school system, so we have two ways: either integrate into schools or we run by the side. So we have a full curriculum that is running. Does not affect your child's school, but helps them. So we teach things like those innovation courses, coding, app development, financial intelligence, design thinking, entrepreneurship. We start a boot camp, and it's designed to run side by side with school. So we say your child will do this without dropping out of school. So I will recommend look for those things that they can do while they are still in school. The second question that Esther Ogbaji asks is, how do you help a 16-year-old boy who is very smart but lazy? How do you get interested in doing all of these things you have mentioned? So one of the ways is, okay, very smart is already, that's a very good side that is smart. Laziness might be indicative of a lack of interest initially. So maybe you find a way to start with something they're interested in. So sometimes it's even in the multiple trials that you might find, oh, this child actually loves this. This child actually is excited about this, interested in this. So you might be able to find something the child is interested in, or you can even tailor what they are learning towards their interests. For example, when we teach coding, one of the things we ask parents, what is your child interested in? Do they like video games? Do they like robots? Do they like movies? So we're teaching coding, but we tailor our curriculum to the interest of the child. So we can focus one child on game development, one child on making animations, one child on doing so different things. You find out what they're excited about and you're able to push them. But at the end of the day, you might also need to put that child in something that pushes them. That is why I talked about all of those hard sports or those contact sports, especially if it's a boy. Say it's a boy. Boys love and boys have energy. So find something they're excited in, but they're excited about, but that will help them with the push a little bit. So if you put that child in a proper sport where there is some coaching, as in proper regimented coaching, not just go and play when you feel like. When you have a coach, when you go there, the coach says, everybody run around this place 3 times. That child will run 3 times because it is part of the program. You are pushing, resilience is coming in gradually. You are pushing over time. The child will when the child begins to achieve goals, confidence begins to come in. He begins to feel good about himself. Naturally, he's going to get more hardworking. It's going to come little by little. But don't just say he's lazy and you leave him there. Find out what he's interested in. If you are not sure, talk to somebody, talk to a coach, talk to somebody who can help. Okay, can you get on a session with my son and help me find out what he's excited about so that we can tailor his journey in that area? I'm sure that over the course of this entire conference, you'll have heard different people whose work revolves around those kind of things. Let them talk to your child and find out what he loves to do. If you've not found anybody yet, I donate myself. Talk to me. I can get on the call with him, find out how we can help him, what he's excited about. But definitely, 16 smart is a very the good side is do good. Laziness, we can sort out laziness. That will not be a problem.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Please, everyone, please follow Coach David. His handles are displayed on the screen. Make sure you follow him and